On December the 17th, 2010, Mohamed Bouazizi, a Tunisian vegetable dealer, made a desperate decision. He set himself on fire to protest the actions of police in his hometown, whom he said had repeatedly confiscated his goods and beat him. Massive protests erupted the same day, first in the capital Tunis and then throughout the country. They inspired similar uprisings across the Arab world. In Tunisia, people protested against the greed and corruption of the president, Zine Al Abidine Ben Ali, against high unemployment and soaring food prices. Almost overnight, the price of bread had jumped 150%. Then in May 2011, protests erupted in Spain. They were fueled by anger over the tanking economy and government policies that only worsened people's suffering. One source of inspiration was the book Time for Outrage by Stefan Hessel, calling for a peaceful uprising against finance capitalism. Unemployment has soared, especially among the young. 70% of those in their 20s are forced to live at home. Radical austerity measures have trimmed pensions and slashed a range of benefits. Critics say the social safety net has been shredded. A wave of protest started also in the United States in October of that year. The Occupy movement made use of social media to call on the 99% of the population to stand up to the rich and powerful 1%, who own almost half of the country's wealth. Although banks got billions in bailout funds, young people have a hard time paying for their education, unless they have rich parents. The gap between rich and poor grows ever wider. In Turkey, what began as a peaceful demonstration in Istanbul against plans to build a shopping centre in Gezi Park triggered a countrywide wave of protests against the state and its perceived authoritarianism. In Istanbul, people have to leave their homes to make way for development projects backed by the government. There's no consultation process and they have no recourse. Many young people say the Islamist-inspired administration is eroding the freedoms anchored in the secular constitution. Police cracked down hard on demonstrators. 4 people were killed and more than 8,000 injured when security forces broke up protests in Taksim Square on May the 31st this year. This summer, on June the 20th, 300,000 took to the streets of Rio de Janeiro to protest increases in fares on public transport. But there is also anger about wider issues. Brazil's economy has been growing fast, yet many ordinary people are not sharing in the new wealth. According to the demonstrators, while the infrastructure, education and healthcare systems are failing, corrupt politicians and businessmen rake in the profits. Brazil will host the 2014 Soccer World Cup. The costs have soared to more than 9 billion euros. The original contract has increased tenfold.